Hey ladies, so today's video is for all of you gals who reached out to me and asked me, Mitzi, what do you use on a regular basis? So I thought, you know what, let me just throw a camera down on my desk and show you what I use. The first thing that I use a lot is this paper cutter because I cannot for the life of me cut a straight line with scissors. So I rely on this heavily. Anytime that I'm cutting paper, 99% of the time I'm using this paper cutter. I love it. The next thing that I use on a daily basis is this pad of paper. It is just your basic pad of paper. However, this is Midori paper. This is by a company out of Japan called Midori, and it is, well, I just think it is fabulous paper. But then again, I'm a paper girly, and I'm really into paper and Japanese and Korean paper specifically. And the reason that I'm into it is because I use a fountain pen. And so paper is important when you use a fountain pen. If you don't use a fountain pen, then you don't have to worry about it. But I use a fountain pen. So it's important for me to have really nice, high quality paper that will take fountain ink well. And this fountain pen, while we have her out here, is well, it was a gift that I gave to myself, and I just love it. It is the Esterbrook Coffee Monster Co. collab that Helen dropped last year for her anniversary. It is gorgeous. It is expensive, around $200, and that's why I say, you know what, I gifted it to myself. It is beautiful. It's like cream going into coffee, and I love coffee. You know I love coffee, but what really got me was this little emoji on here. That is her little character, and it is on all of her stuff, including this little bag down here. I mean, look at that. It got me. I had FOMO. I had FOMO, and I had to get this pen. No other reason for it. Look at that. It was something that I gifted to myself, and I don't do it very often. In fact, this is the only expensive fountain pen that I own. Everything else is really inexpensive and really reasonable for anybody. So this next thing here is my ink blotter. And the reason why I have an ink blotter is because I use a fountain pen. My husband found this for me at an antique store. And if you're not familiar with them, oh, this blotter paper is from the Coffee Monster Co. If you're not familiar with a ink blotter, I will show you what it does. Now, if you use fountain pens, then you know all about this. If you don't, then this will be new information. When you write with a fountain pen, the ink from a fountain pen, especially depending on if you use a medium nib, which I prefer, the ink does not dry right away. So to keep it from smearing or getting on anything else that you might be working with at the time, then you use an ink blotter, just like that. You just plop it over a couple of times and it takes up any excess ink. Okay, so while we are still here talking about ink, let's go over the ink that I use. First off, if I am writing with a black pen, then I am using this ink, and it is a carbon ink, and it is from a company out of Japan. However, you can get it, and I get it off of Amazon. That is actually where I have found it at the best price point. And this is an archival ink. It is waterproof. So if I'm writing with black ink in any of my videos, you know that this is the ink that I am using. Okay, so while we are talking about ink, let's just go all in and talk about ink. These are the inks that I use besides if I'm using color ink, and it is the Robert Oster ink. And he is out of Australia, and you could find these at different ink stores. I have Blood Crimson, Lemongrass, Bondi Blue. Then I have these two that are collabs with Helen that she did, and they are beautiful. It's Day to Night and Coffee Monster. And they are gorgeous, gorgeous inks, and I have not found a pen that they do not work in. And inks and fountain pens, that's a whole nother subject. We'll go over that. These inks I got up in Vancouver last summer at the Vancouver pen store. I just loved. So the last thing when it comes to pens and inks and all that is something that I use every day, and that is my leather pen case. And the reason I have her, she is Esterbrook, is just to protect this Esterbrook pen. Okay, so ladies, this next one you're going to see a lot of in my videos. You've already seen it a lot, and that is my double-sided tape. I love double-sided tape. Glue is good, but double-sided tape, even better. And basically you just plop it on whatever you want to attach, and then you use the next thing, which is just a tool that I think is probably my most important tool. I found these a couple of years ago and I use them every day. I cannot imagine my life if I did not have these little pins. I call them a pin. Um, they will be in the description as well. I get them off of Amazon, or you can find them on, or not on, but at Hobby Lobby. And look at that. It just picks that up so quick. And I just throw it behind my back. You'll see that a lot of my videos as well. When I'm using double-sided tape, I just quick, get it off there. Love these, love these, love these pins. Okay, so let's see. The next thing. The next thing that I use, or I'm going to show you, is, I guess, what's inside this bag. So these are things that I use just on a regular basis because, like I said, I cannot draw a straight line. I use a lot of rulers when I am doing craft project or even in my journal. I happen to have these really little cute metal ones from the Coffee Monster Co. I like these little cutouts for if you're doing like bullet journaling, that type of thing. And then I have this Clair one. She's cute, but there is a reason I have her, and that is if you want to line up wording underneath to make straight lines. You can see through it because obviously she's Clair. So again, any ruler will work. These just happen to be the rulers that I have. The next thing is just a regular old X-Acto knife. Mine happens to be Cricut, but that's just because I have a Cricut, and so I had one. I like that it comes with the disposable blades for putting in and out. They're really easy, and because I have nails, I'm always worried about cutting myself. So that is the next thing that I use almost every day, is my X-Acto knife. Then the next thing that I have in here is just your basic pencil. You never know when you're going to need a pencil, and to have a nice one is, well, it's important to me. This is a Tombow mono pencil. She's cute, but another great option is, I call it Ticonderoga. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but I love those pencils as well. This Tombow mono pencil does a really nice thin line. Mechanical pencils, obviously it has a little backside that you can add in more leads. Overall, it's a nice, pretty inexpensive mechanical pencil. So the other option is the Ticonderoga, and the reason why I like these are because they are nice, high quality pencils. I will actually pay for these. I get these when I get my school supplies. Let me grab one out. The great thing about this, let's just go for the pink one. Yeah. So the nice thing about these is they come pre-sharpened. And so if I can't find my pencil sharpener, which is usually the case, I always have a sharpened pencil. So the next thing is a micron pen. I love these as well. I like the 05. That is just the thickness that I like, and they do a nice dark line. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So they are archival ink as well. And so that is important when it comes to journaling. Not so important with crafting necessarily, but for journaling, very important. So then I have my tweezers, and this one is a real, let me see, let me get it in screen. Let me get it focused here. There we go. See how nice and pointy and sharp those are? That is one option. The other one are my Cricut, and I love these tweezers. I love these tweezers because, let me see, let me grab in my desk and grab some paper. The reason why I like these are because if you want to work with paper, you can pick it up and then you don't have to hold it shut because it holds it shut on its own. With these ones, I can hold it, but if I let go of them, oops, there it goes, boom. With these ones, to have it held in one spot, and you can move it around your page to figure out exactly where you want it, and then bang, you just stick it on And there you go. You have it exactly. It's good for placement. So I love tweezers. I like using them. I didn't always know why people use them, but I get it now. The next thing is just whiteout tape. You can get all different brands of this. This is just what I happen to have. I got it at Daiso. And boom, pretty self-explanatory. Good old whiteout tape. Then the last thing in here, you have seen this before and you'll see it plenty in the future. This is my Ooly pen. This is an Ooly fountain pen. You can buy them in packs of 2, a blue plastic one and a black plastic one. You can get them through Barnes & Noble. You can get them online through Amazon. They are usually between $7 and $13 for a pack of 2. And I love it. I love the way that it puts down ink. I love the way that my handwriting writes with it. I love that pen. Okay, so that is that. Okay, here we have the cutest little Tupperware. I hold little various things in Tupperware. This one reminds me of my childhood, and I loved it so much that my kids got me the entire set for Mother's Day. And I swear to God, besides my wedding ring, I love this. This is the best gift I've ever gotten. I love these. So I use these little scissors a lot. You'll see those. These are actually embroidery scissors, but these are the ones that I have for using with paper. Then I use my little clippy thing. What do we call it? Edge clipper. I'm not a professional here, ladies. I just like stuff. Yeah, the little corner clipper. Yeah, corner clipper. I use that a lot. And then the last thing that I hold in here is important, and it is important because it does go with my pen. And while I love the medium nib that I got from Helen and the Coffee Monster Co., this one is just an additional fine point nib. And I got it at a store down in Portland, Oregon, and it is a palladium nib. That doesn't really mean anything to me. If you know, you know. Okay, so let's move on. So that is what I keep inside my little Tupperware. And of course, she's pink. The next thing that I use a lot of, let's see, what should I do next? Well, let's talk about ink. So sometimes I use stamping. I don't use a lot, but sometimes I will use stamps when I'm doing journals. And this one is my favorite. Let me see if I grab a stamp here. This is the stamp that I use when I do crafts. And when I do crafts, then I use this ink. This is called, it's a stamp that says uniquely handmade. I say when you make something, be proud of it. Be proud of what you made and always put your mark of yourself. And this is what I use as my mark. I don't put my name on things. I just like this stamp that says that it is handmade. And boom, a lot of detail up and down. And look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous ink. So it does detail really well. It does fine lines really well. Wording really well. I love this ink. I have a little extra backup of this to re-ink the pad if I need to, which I haven't used yet, but I have it if I need to. Then this one is VersaMagic. It is made by the same company, but this one is called VersaMagic, not VersaFine Clair. And this one specifically is for if you are writing on Tomo rubber paper. But let's see, or Tomo rubber paper or any ink paper, journal paper that you might have to worry about it bleeding through. It is a lot lighter. It's a little less clear, but that's okay because sometimes writing in journals, you don't want that whole bleed through. And so then I will use this one. Let's see. Let me get a different little thing, little stamp, so I can show you what I use it for when it comes to journaling. Sometimes in journals, I want to timestamp things, and so I have this little stamp, and then I will just use this, boom, 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 get it inked up, and then I just up and down, and there we go. So that is what I use ink for when I'm using my journal. And then I use the VersaFine Clair. These you can get at scrapbook stores. You can also get them on Amazon. The VersaFine Magic I actually found on Amazon. Next up, obviously, we have pens. And besides paper, I love pens. And these are the ones that I use when I journal most regularly. These are the zebra pens. Let me pick out a cute color. Well, we'll just go with this one. This is the zebra CLiCKART. And these are just clickable pens. Let me see if I can find a better color to show. Let's see. Here, we'll pick out this purple. And they make a nice little line, and they have all different colors. And look at her. Boom, boom. Love a clickable pen. This is green. If you press a little bit harder, then the line is a little bit thicker. But that is pretty self-explanatory. The next pens that I like using a lot are these. These are by Ooly, and these are just fun. These are just fun. I'm going to put it down here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but the thing with these pens is these little sparkles. There is a little sparkle in the ink when you lay it down. So those are just fun pens. And this last one is the Sarasa by Zebra. And these make a nice, there you go. It's a Sarasa clip. They make a nice, thin line. So let's put her down here. You see the difference between the green and that purple right there. A nice thin line. I love these pens. So those are the pens that I use on a regular basis. And these are things that you can find at any Barnes & Noble, Amazon, etc. I always have a cup by my desk. This one says, sometimes you forget you're awesome. This is your reminder. I think it is so important to remind ourselves on a daily basis that we are awesome ladies doing awesome things in this world. So with this cup or with any other cup that I have, another reason why I have it here is because it reminds me to drink my protein shake. And I swear to God, ladies, I am not advertising for this brand. This is just what I happen to be on right now. It's Okios. I don't even know how to pronounce it. But anyway, it's a protein drink. And I put it into a cute cup and then I drink it. When you get to a certain age, well, any age, but when you get to a certain age, it is important to have ample protein in your diet. And let's be honest, girls, there is not a lot of protein in Sour Patch Kids. So this is how I do it. I get it in quick, I get it in easy, and this is why I have this cup here always on my desk as a reminder. So that is the things that I use on a daily basis. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Again, please do not feel like you have to have any of this stuff. We all have so much stuff. This is my stuff. I am putting links in the description. They do link to Amazon, and if you buy through them, if there's something you like, then I do get a little commission, just to be totally transparent. But there again, do not feel like you have to buy anything. Do not feel like you have to buy anything, and do not feel like you have to buy through my links. So thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm so excited for Friday, the beginning of our 30-day journal challenge. I love that so many of you ladies have jumped on board with me to say you're in. For that, I want to remind you, you're awesome. So drink your protein drinks, get your notebooks ready, and I will see you on Friday. Until then, from one paper girly to another,